Welcome to this tutorial. In this tutorial, we will go through a very exciting, in my view, project progress dashboard, or it could be a bunch of tasks that you want to visualize this way. I think it's quite exciting to present that to your client or to your manager. It's a bit different. So here what I have is I have a bunch of tasks. We'll see you can have how many as you like. Overall progress at the top, amount of days down the left. But what I like about this is that what I've done is I've allowed you to change the tasks here using a selection. So it's quite good, I believe. So you have the percentage completion here, and this is showing as a bar here, 75%. The name of the task come back and what's left to be done. And here you have the RAG status here. So if you don't know what RAG is, it's red, amber, and green. And you can specify that in a task list. We have a very basic task list that we will go through as well. So here you can go to any task, bring back the percentage, everything is updated. And I hope you enjoy it. So I'll show you step by step how to build this. We'll start off by building a very basic task list where you can check the description of the task, see if it's too long. You can describe your RAG status if you want one, and you can select how many characters you want in your task list. So that's it. So let's get started with this. So to start with, I want to show you how I have built each one of those rectangles here. Now, the first rectangle that you build is quite important. You need to make sure that you do it very well, because after it's a matter of copying and pasting, but the conditional formatting will have to be changed for some of those rectangles. So this is how I have built this. I have, how many do I have? 10, I have 12, 13 columns. And I have 5 rows, 13 and 5. And I'll break down to you how they have been built. But at the top here, what you need to do, and that will be where we check the percentage progress, and we will beat this bar here. You would put numbers here with a 10% increase or a 0.1 increase in numbers. So here I have 0, 0.1, 0.2, 0.3, all the way to 1. And here I have 2 ones, and we'll see why we need the 1 duplicated here. So you have that on top. A few cells below, you build this thing. Okay, so we do a bit of merging because we have this bar here that will go cell by cell. But for the others, for visibility, we need to merge them, because when we go on the dashboard here, we'll notice that this bar here is very narrow, and it has to be narrow, otherwise it looks a bit overwhelming when you have that many tasks. So we will have those 3 very narrow. Here I wanted to leave them wide, because this way you can see you can see what I'm doing, more or less. So let's go. So the first one that will be for a number. This is where we will be selecting the task. From the task list. We'll get to the task list, in a minute. Always struggle to say this, but it doesn't matter. And here that will be retrieved from the task list, but we have have a look at the design for the time being. So percentage, and here you need to merge 7 cells. So you do not merge this one. Here you merge 2. Here you merge 7. And here you merged 2 again, and here there is 1 this way. And then here you would have 11 cells. So we need 11 because we have a white in the middle. Let me just show it to you. Actually, I will put it here. And this is the only trick really is, and here we will have we will retrieve also the RAG status, obviously. So that will work something this way. So here, when you have 20%, you would have 2. You would have a white to separate, and that's the whole trick. And then you would have the remainder. So this is why you would always need to allow for 10% more. So this is why I have 11 here and not 10. So the only trick is what happens in the end. Here I have 90%. See, let's just simulate here. Here I have 90%. And here I would have the white in between. And here I would have the 100% marker. So what happens at 100%, you might ask? So what we do 100%, so this is 90. At 100%, we just put everything completed. Actually, it should be this one, everything completed. No one's going to come and check that it's 10 or instead of it's 11, sorry, instead of 10. So that's the way we build it. It's all done by conditional formatting. Okay, so this is the design. So if you want to build it with me, you have to build something like this first. 1 to 11, 1, 2 merged, 7 merged, 2 merged, and 1. And then this little thing here. Once that is done, it's practically finished, the demo. Okay, now we create another tab that we can call task list, for instance. And here, once again, doesn't have to be pretty. Because this is not a dashboard, this is behind the scene. Who's going to look in the kitchen when you have a nice dish in a restaurant? So nobody cares about this really if you present this dashboard. Now the first thing that you want to do, if you want to really obviously copy the same design as I have, is I have changed the normal background here, as you probably have noticed. So of note, I'm using the page layout color, the old quote-unquote color theme from Microsoft. It's called the Office 2013-2022. So I'm not using the latest on this. I'm just using an old one. And then if I go back to the normal style, modify, and here you go under format, and here at the fill, you choose this one, which is, what's the name of this? Well, it's the fifth from the left, and I take the darkest one. Fifth from the left and the darkest one. If you want to take note, the fifth is, here it should tell me blue. It's called blue, sometimes get different name. So blue accent. Okay, so it looks like those are practically the same blues. Okay, so I put the blue background, make sure you have everything in white or in very light, otherwise you're not going to see much. So task number, this is a manual. I could have used the sequence function from Excel, but just to show that there is at least one person using it, but I decided not to, just put manually something between 1 to 24. Here you would put your task names. And here I do a very basic check. I just check the length of this, and here, this is actually one of the things that I have here. Well, how much do I want to allow for tasks? And I've said 16 characters, because it can get a bit cramped here. So I just said, you might want more or less. So here I've just said 16, and I just put a message here. I didn't do any conditional formatting. I don't want to overwhelm anyone. So I just say, if the length of this is greater than 16, then I give a bit warning. I say bit long. And if not, I put length okay. So that's it. So check the length of this, compare with that, put an error message. Done. So here I just put the amount of time planned. I have everything the same, so I'm was a bit lazy here. Oh, this is not going to work. Actually, I need something bigger. So this is the amount of days that you had planned, and this is the amount of days that was done. So as you progress, obviously, to start with, you'll have 0. As you progress, you update this. So once you've put all your tasks, you will just go through down, and you will be updating this. Now, flag. I just thought I would add some colors there. Didn't want to be all blue, all doom and gloom. Just wanted to have some, bring back the rack status for everyone. Like for instance, here, the task number 3. There is a red here, task number 3. Hopefully there is a red here. So I just create a small table here. You don't have to use the rack status if you don't like it. You can actually, if you don't know what the rack status, and if I think about it, I'll give you a link of the rack status video in the description. So you just go here, and then you go under, if you don't know how to do it quickly, data validation, and you put a list, and then you click on the source and you select those 3 here. And it's done. This way, when you select one, it limits you to selecting those 3. Now, the first one, I have put it in red. Ah, but it's completed, so it's not going to help much. It's not completed, sorry, so, okay. One here shows in red. Now, if I change it to, I'm taking a big risk doing that live. Voila, okay, so that's green. Now, so, what did I want to mention now? What I wanted to mention is you can select everything here. If you really want to stress here that the color should be, highlight the colors, you can go here, go under conditional formatting, and the rules. Here I was a little bit lazy actually. Instead of doing 3 conditional formatting, I just done 1. And format all cells based on their values. And here you say 3 color scales. And here what I put, minimum number is 1, maximum number is 3, and midpoint as 50%. So this way I know if it's number 1, I know I only have 3 numbers, so it's either this, this, or that. If 1 green, if 2 amber, if 3 red. I could have done just the basic, you know, if this cell is 1, then put green, 2 amber, but I like to mix it up. And here this will be used also for the dashboard. Percentage done. How do we do this? It's what has been done divided by what was planned. So here 50%, left to do 50%. Okay. Here I do a total of all the planned. That will also show on the top here, and the done. Okay, so here this is optional. Just if you want to do this, it's a 2-step process. First of all, you have to copy exactly this, so you just put an equal. Let me do it here again. I don't think it's really useful. So you just put everything here, 50%. I mean, it's this way that gives you a very rough idea of what's been completed. You just do a carbon copy of this, and you select it, and then you go under conditional formatting, and you put data bars, and you put this one, for instance, if you like. And what you do after, you go under manage rules, and you edit that rule, and what you do is show bar only, so that will remove all the percentage. And if you're very fancy, you want to put a solid border in white. And then you apply all this, and that's done. So this is how it's been done. Okay, so we have our very basic task list. We have our framework. Now it's just a matter of retrieving some stuff. Now, hopefully you have a version of Excel that allows XLOOKUP. If you don't, then it's okay. You just need to use the VLOOKUP, but that would probably mean you would need to arrange that differently. Sorry. So if you have any issues, just let me know in the comments. Now, or let's go through these, for instance, to start with, to get the top out of the way. So here, this is the percentage completion, so that based on those two values here, it's very easily calculated. Here you just put whatever you want. It is easy, it's directly in here. And here it's a very basic chart design. You just select change chart type, for instance, and this is a stacked bar this way here. So 201, and here you take the 209 and 271 days, and you just go here. So 209 and 271. Why 271? That's because it's what has been done, and 209 is what has been done, and 271 is what's left to be done by deduction. And then you select those two, and you just put a very basic chart here with the white borders, and you select the colors. Now this is done for the top. Now for each one of those squares. So here, this is where you just put a data validation. So remember, we are in here. number, and this is where you would put your data validation list. And guess where you want to go and get this? You get this here because you have a task number. You know, I could have put the task description, but I thought it'll be a bit less cluttered here. So you might notice here when I select all that I have project num. So because I have named all those cells project num here. So here I can just retrieve things here now. Just quickly, if you don't know how to name columns, there's several ways. But I just give you the most basic ways. You select it all and then you type the name here while everything is selected, and you press enter twice. The trick here is twice, otherwise if you just press it only one, Excel is going to think that you want to go to the cell address, which is project name. So it's not going to work. Press twice. Here we have the task name that I have called description, and I think this is all that I have named. Same here. Okay. So here now I can go and select this. So we have the very basic thing that we have here. And now it's just a matter of retrieving all the rest based on that, I suppose. So, okay, well, so I was wrong. Looks like I've named some others. Completion, planned, and the completion here. Oh, here. Okay. Dashboard. Okay, so the first one we go and we just use this. So this is our key. So this is what we use to go and retrieve everything on that rectangle here. So here I'm doing XLOOKUP. I use C10 as a key. And I'm looking for the project name as a key here. And then I retrieve the completion column. So here I'm just looking for one in this column. And then I retrieve the completion column. So the completion column, where is it? Completion. Here you go. So that's the cells that I have named. Completion is the K. So I retrieve the completion down here. So this is completion. So if you need to know, so this is called completion. Oh, it's all dark. Okay, completion. This is called completion. Voila. Okay, so and I retrieve this. So using this, I retrieve the percentage completion here. And so, and if I don't find it, I put just blank. Here the same, I just do an XLOOKUP, look using the C10, which is the one as a key, and I retrieve the description column. See, everything is more or less consistent, the same. This, I don't go and retrieve it, I can deduct it, because I'm so smart. So here, obviously, the opposite of 50% is 100% less that. So it's 1 less that. Okay, so that is done. So that's all retrieved. Now we're left with the task of doing this. But look, there is nothing in this. So because it's all done by conditional formatting. So this is where I suppose I usually tell you in these demos where we need to concentrate. And this is the only part really where we need to concentrate. All the rest is just a matter of retrieving stuff or referencing stuff directly. You know, here, XLOOKUP, use this as a key, XLOOKUP, use it as a key, do a deduction, no problem. Now, this, on the other hand, we have to concentrate because we also, when we copy that to the other rectangles, you're going to have to make sure that everything is following properly. But you're going to have probably to change the conditional formatting for some of those. Okay, so let's get started. Conditional formatting, let's have a look at the rules that I have created. So there is the blue for the progress. There is the white for the bar in the middle, and there is the rack status, green and red. Why don't I have amber? Because I was lazy once again, and I put the amber as a default. So if I go here, select all this, and I look here, so this is set as a default here, the amber, the gold accent 4, I just put this as a fill, as a default. And then all the other 3 colors will be done by conditional formatting. Let's go back there. Conditional formatting. Okay, so the first one, I remember we have those things here at the top, those numbers from 1 to 10. So what I do is I check that this, if this cell here, the number here on the cell, if it's smaller than this, I color it in blue. So if the cell number here is smaller than this, I color that in blue. It is as simple as that, just to show you here. You know, while this number here is smaller, let's say here you have 25%. So I haven't built it here, but let's say that cell here, I will check, is 0.1 smaller than 25%? Yes, put it in blue. If 0.2 smaller than 25%, yes, put it in blue. Is 0.3 smaller than 25%? No, so put the default value. Okay, so this is where we are at. Now we have the white. So for the white, it's a little bit different. I need AND. So I need to have the 2 conditions here to check that I am exactly in the middle. I'm exactly smaller than the 2, so I don't meet the blue condition. But at the same time, the next one is not going to be the same as well. So I'll give you a bit of time to have a look at this. And the white one is a tricky one that is just in between. And then what do I do with all the rest? With all the rest, I'm just referring back to this, to the rack status here. So here what I'm doing for the rack status is, once again, I'm using C10 as a key. I'm going to check there, and I bring back the flag, which is this field here. And I put it here. So this way, when I build this, conditional formatting, manage rules, when I build this, I check that cell here. If the cell is 1, then I put green. If the cell is 3, I put red. And anything else will go back to the default value of amber. So this is it. So this is a quick demo, so I cannot go through all the steps, but here you have to be careful when you copy that into this, that the conditional formatting is following. So here, if I look at the conditional formatting, I need to make sure that this has followed. So this is why you have to be mindful where you put your dollar to lock the colons here. For the 10, for this line here, you need to make sure that you always refer to this one, so the colon should be locked. And then obviously when you move from here to here, then you will need to replace the colon here. So here it's a S, I'm checking S, and here I was checking D. So you need to change that for every time you move things across, not when you move it down, but for when you move it across. And the opposite applies for this. You need to make sure that you always refer to the one at the top. So this is it for a quick demo. The rack status, you can either leave them here on the left-hand side, or you can hide them as I have. I hope you like it. I acknowledge I was a bit quick for this. This is not exactly the step-by-step building from scratch and explaining everything, but if you have some questions, put them in comments. I'm always happy to answer questions. But in any case, I hope you have fun with this.